Hi, I'm Jennifer Lentfer, and I'm the creator of HowMatters.org. I've had the privilege of working with over 300 grassroots organizations in East and Southern Africa during my career. And that makes this year's Day Without Dignity theme really important to me. Most of the groups I've worked with were linked to local churches, schools, clinics, or they were independent. And they were all assisting children and families, extending services into areas that were not sufficiently reached by government or international agencies. WiserEarth.org conservatively estimates that there may be over 1 million local organizations and grassroots movements operating across the globe on a variety of issues. Now that's a lot of local champions. There is a profound need for community-driven development initiatives that are genuinely responsive to local needs, rather than top-down projects and fumbled, naive do-gooder efforts. The web of local organizations and grassroots movements around the world is still largely undocumented and unrecognized around, and it offers an important opportunity for social change that even the most comprehensive and impactful white and shining armor efforts may never be able to accomplish. This is what A Day Without Dignity is all about. This presentation is my attempt to share a little of what I know about what's needed from us to put local champions at the forefront of aid. First, let's establish who is a local champion. When people from your community are knocking on your door for help, and you're working day in and day out to help fulfill their needs, then you're a local champion. And when you're coming up with the ideas and steps forward based on a process where you generated solutions to the problems that you share with your neighbors and fellow community members, then yes, you are a local champion. When you're implementing something, a project, a program, a service, and it's not just a job or a hobby, it is a matter of life and personal responsibility to the people you face every day, then yes, you're a local champion. When you can identify with the people you're serving to such an extent that you feel an obligation to be directly accountable to them in a personal rather than an abstract way, then you're a local champion. Essentially, unless you're on the ground doing the work with and on behalf of your own community on a daily basis, you're not a local champion. That makes most of us local champion supporters, and this presentation is going to explore that role. So what do people need to support local champions who are at the forefront of change? It's those whose eyes, ears, and voice are devoted to working with people in the developing world to find solutions to their own problems. And it's those of us with a professional, but more importantly, a personal resolve to nurture alternative models of development that genuinely build on the dignity, knowledge, skills, culture, and abilities of local people. In order to do this, people working in international development, humanitarian aid, philanthropy, we must balance many roles. And it's in recognition of this responsibility, this privilege, this burden, as well as the sophistication required to pull it off well, that I'm going to outline and hopefully celebrate 5 pieces of advice that we as outsiders can embody, cultivate, and use in our calling to support local champions. A loudspeaker is someone who will fight for what local champions need to succeed. You're there to listen and understand local champions, and then to advocate for their interests, ultimately ensuring that they've got the resources they've identified as necessary for success. Everyone has a voice, and there is no such thing as a voice for the voiceless. Be a loudspeaker for local champions, so that they can address the causes of suffering, oppression, and injustice they face. They know what's needed at the community level better than anyone. Many people focus on becoming an expert or gathering expertise in a technical area, such as child survival or agriculture, or becoming even an expert in an organization's policies, procedures, guidelines. These skills can all be useful. But what about becoming an expert on the local champions with which you work? You can deeply understand the skills, resources, knowledge, and capacities they bring. Local expertise does not receive the recognition and support it deserves. So instead of bringing your outside expertise, become a student of local champions, learning from, with, and by members of the community and grassroots groups. Local champions should be supported at all times to think creatively about their work. Outsiders, we can offer ideas and recommendations, but these are obviously limited by what we don't or can't know. Therefore, our most important role is to encourage and coach and uphold processes of individual and collective reflection so that local champions can identify and overcome the obstacles they face. Supporting local champions to enhance their own efforts with openness and confidence is what gives birth to true innovation. An effective supporter of local champions lives by his or her values, exhibits personal responsibility, shares inspiration, and personifies integrity. And leaders translate good intentions into good practice. In the realm of international aid, everything depends on this. You are an effective leader only when you can get behind what local champions are trying to accomplish. A true friend celebrates your successes and shares your failures. From my own experiences and failures, the most important thing I've learned is that human warmth is key to successful partnerships. When we can exhibit our respect, our positivity, our encouragement, this is what enables the trust that results in authentic and productive relationships between us and local champions. Relationships of warmth, integrity, and trust remind people of their essential humanity, and it enables them to see the possibilities in front of them. That's why, for me, it all comes back to not what we do, but how we do it. Thanks for listening, and please do continue to follow howmatters.org.